Can I continue?
Yeah, please, sister.
So we were discussing about book of Genesis. So
Correct.
I said there
Joseph,
are...
you were talking about Joseph.
Yeah.
The importance of
So,
Joseph was,
yes, yes. So we are speaking about the patriarchal history, which is recorded in Genesis chapter 12 to 50. So I said the Joseph story is actually not very important for the patriarchal history, but it is important to explain why and how did the Israelites landed in Egypt. To explain that, you need the story of Joseph, and that's why you have a long story. But as a patriarch is not so important, because always the prayers are said, God of Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Jacob. Three main persons only are mentioned. And so coming to the story of Abraham. First of all, you should know these patriarchs whom we are regarding, okay, Abraham and his descendants, they are, because if you understand the background only, you will understand the promises of God to Abraham, and he is from Mesopotamia. Okay, that means Old Testament actually begins not in Palestine, but in Mesopotamia. I think I explained that in the beginning class. I think so. I don't know. I forget what I did. Yeah. So I will use the diagram. I am fond of drawing my diagram often. Okay. So I'll put the diagram this side now. Okay. So you have the Mediterranean Sea, and then you have... Okay, so I'll just put it like this. And then you have Mesopotamia. I'll see because I'm using this sketch and drawing it, diagrams are not perfect, but after I'll display the map so you'll understand better. So I said, this is Mesopotamia. I said, this is the land between two rivers. So you have Tigris and Euphrates. Okay, this is one river and this is another river. So the land is Mesopotamia. This is Mesopotamia. Put it like this. So you have... And the northern part of Mesopotamia, I said, is Assyria. And the southern part is Babylon. Now, Abraham and his father is, anybody knows the father of Abraham?
Tahor.
Haran.
Pardon?
Haran.
I didn't hear.
Haran.
Terah. Okay.
Yeah.
Terah. His father's name is Terah, father of Abraham. And they are actually from Mesopotamia. And in Mesopotamia, the southern part, Babylon. And in Babylon, is here. Okay, here I put it. They are from Ur. So Abraham is from Ur. Abraham and his father all were here. But they are nomads. No? Either full nomads or semi-nomads. Some people say they are semi-nomads. But they are nomads. Means people who move from place to place. Okay? They are, because they do not possess the land of their own. And why they were moving from place to place? Mainly because of their cattle. They have a lot of cattle and they had to be fed, and therefore they move wherever there is a pasture. They'll move like that, and they won't pitch the tent in different places. Now, Abraham and his family, they had to leave Ur. They are from Ur. They leave Ur and they want to go to Canaan. So this is Canaan. You remember I have given the map in the beginning. So this is Canaan. Canaan is supposed to be the land flowing with the milk and honey and fertile land and so on. So he wants to take all his cattle and move to Canaan because of the fertility there. But he can't take the cattle and people like this route because it's a desert. So you cannot take the cattle through the desert, it will all die. And therefore, his route is from Ur. He moves up like this, okay? So you have to see my arrow, okay? That means my mouse, yeah? So he moves from Ur to the upper part like this, okay? And then to enter through this way to the land of Canaan. But when he starts moving, grazing the cattle and moving, intention is to come to Canaan. But when he reached the northern part here, okay, here there is a place called Aram. So when he reached Aram, what happens? He sees why he was going to the other place is for pasture's sake. But here itself, everything he found, okay? So green pastures and everything was in plenty, in abundance. So he will pitch his tent and he will stay there, okay, in Haran. So chapter 12 of Genesis, chapter 11 of the last paragraph of chapter 11 will speak about this. He moved to Haran and he settled in Haran, okay? Haran, you don't get confused. It is also name of a person as well as name of the place. And when he got settled here, at that moment, because when you find everything what you need, you are comfortable, and this is my settlement, okay? So I will settle here. When he decides that, then the call of God comes to Abraham, okay? Asking him, leave your country, okay? Country is Mesopotamia. His country is Mesopotamia. Leave your country and your people and go to the land that I will show you. See, we call Abraham as father of faith. And when we ask why he is father of faith, he had only one son. God asked him to sacrifice his son and he sacrificed his son. And therefore, much before the birth of his son, Abraham exhibits his faith. If you were in his place, when everything what you need, everything is there for you. And when people come, no, I will send you to another place. Your natural question would be, where? To which place? Natural question is to where? Where am I going? Where are you taking me? To which place? Is it there? That is there? Is it all the facilities are? So many questions will be there. But Abraham doesn't ask anything. It simply says, the text says, as soon as God gives him this, he went. Okay, he went. So that is where, when you have things to settle and God is leading, and God did not tell him, I will take you to land of Canaan. He never promised there. He didn't say. He simply says, leave your country and your people and go to the land that I'm going to show you. And then, and so into uncertainty. Abraham has to move into the uncertainty. And that is where the text says, and Abraham went. And that is why, personally, I believe he exhibits his faith in Yahweh. Okay, that means God, whomever would believe. So he says, the text says, and Abraham went. So this is from certainty into uncertainty. Normally, from uncertainty, we like to move to the certainty, but here it is from certainty to uncertainty. Doesn't know where, but he was sure that God will lead him. And if you look at that text, chapter 12, verse 1 following, I will put it here. In the call of Abraham, there are 3 promises. In the call of Abraham, there are 3 promises. One is great nation. I am going to make you a great nation. And second one is that he will bless. That means, what do you say? Whoever blesses you, I will bless. Whoever curses you, I will curse. Bless and curse. Okay, that means God is going to stand by Abraham. And then third, there is also a land. Okay, order may be different in the text or the way it is said, but for my explanation, I have put it this way. So God gives these three promises in the very call of Abraham. You leave your country and your people and go to the land I will show you. I will bless you with great, your, what is that? Your nation will become great. Okay. And whoever curses you, I will curse you. Okay. Then he is also speaking that go to the land I will show you. So you have three promises. But one lesson we have, see, two lessons actually. One lesson is when we think we are most comfortable in one place, that may be the time God demands certain sacrifices from us. Okay. So we all of us have our own little herons we have made for our own self. Okay. Heron of position, heron of power, heron of persons, like that. We have our own, we have created little comfort zones. But maybe God is coming and asking us to leave those comfort zones at certain time in our lives. Then this is what Abraham's story becomes an inspiration. The second one is, although God promised all these three promises to Abraham, you look which are the things are fulfilled during the time of Abraham himself. Only one. Okay, that is a great nation. So you have birth of Isaac. Only that is fulfilled because only his descendants only have to become great. No? So naturally the child is a must. And therefore the birth of a child, only this one takes place during the time of Abraham. The second job is in my order. Okay. This one doesn't take place during the time of Abraham. It will be fulfilled during the time of Moses. Okay, on Mount Sinai, God choosing the people of Israel. You will be my people and I will be your God. Okay, so that means whoever blesses you, I will bless. Whoever curses you, I will curse. So that is fulfilled only during the time of Moses. And then the land. And you all know that they did not get the land. Abraham did not get the land, but during the time of Joshua, this is fulfilled. So a lesson for us is all what we ask may not be fulfilled in our own time, maybe for our generations, okay, some other time, in the opportune time or in the right time, things will be fulfilled. But all what we are asking, we are like that. We demand things and it has to happen for us that moment. But maybe Abraham becomes an inspiration for us to see things a little differently. So now, when he left Haran and came, naturally, the place he comes to is Canaan. But it is not a possession of the land during the time of Abraham. They are like temporary people, pitching the tent and moving. Okay, that's all. His work was that. So they didn't have the stability of the land even in Canaan. Though God told, go to the land, I will show you. He comes there, but he is only as a temporary pitching the tent and living there. And when the story progresses, you have, his son after death of Abraham, you have Isaac. After Isaac, Jacob comes. Now, one thing you should, when you are reading the Old Testament, one thing you have to become clear about is the terms. When you are reading, sometimes you get confused. What is this? Who are these Israelites? Who are these Jews? And who are these Hebrews? And all this, no? For whom are we referring? Sometimes they are called like this, somewhere, some other story. You get confused. And so, if I may ask you, who are the Hebrews? Who are the Hebrews? Anybody? If you know, you can tell. Otherwise, I'll explain and not to waste time.
Chosen people.
Hebrews?
The chosen people of God.
Okay. Then who are the Israelites?
Who belong to Palestine, who live in Palestine.
Israelites. Okay. Then who are the Jews?
Jews are also the chosen people.
They are also chosen people.
Yeah.
All are same. All are same.
All are same. Yes.
Okay. So the Hebrews, Israelites, and the Jews, all refer to one and the same category of people. Only difference is, but of course there is a difference. Difference is, in the beginning, they were called as Hebrews. Okay, for two reasons. Because they are from the tribe of Habiru. Okay, so they are from the tribe of Habiru. Habiru tribe people were called as Hebrews. And why they were called as Hebrews also? Because they spoke the language Hebrew. Okay, now you know, when I speak Kannada, I am called as a Kannadiga. Yeah? And somebody speaking Tamil, then you are calling that person as a Tamilian. Okay, or a Malayali, you know, like that. You, because of the language, you also address people like that. So this tribe, Habiru tribe people, they spoke the language Hebrew, and therefore they were called as Hebrews. And these people, from where our Abraham also comes, Abraham is a Hebrew. And you know, his descendant Isaac, and after the Isaac time comes Jacob. When Jacob, you know the story, what happened to Jacob, he was wrestling with God, and at the end he is renamed. He said, God said that you will be, hereafter you will be named as Israel. So Jacob gets the name Israel. So from then onward, they came to be called as Israelites. That means same people who are called as Hebrews, they were also called as Israelites. I'm using the word also called as. That means don't be under the impression now hereafter they were never called as Hebrews. No, they were called as Hebrews as well as Israelite. So for the same, one and the same category of people, but at a different time, they came to be called as Israelites. Because although the name is changed in the book of Genesis itself, when you read Exodus, you know, the reference is always Hebrews. These Hebrew women, they give birth before we could reach. They're not calling them as Israelites. So, you know, both the terms are used for them. They were Hebrews, are also called as Israelites. And much later, okay, in the history, when we reach the history of the Israelites, we get that when the kingdoms were divided, the kingdom of Israel was divided into two. Okay, here you have this kingdom was divided. When they occupied this land, it was called as Kingdom of Israel. And when the kingdom got divided, northern kingdom. So you have this northern kingdom, and then you have here the southern kingdom. So that time they used a different name. Northern kingdom took the name Israel, and then therefore southern kingdom, that means people of Judah, they came to be called as Jews. That means same people in the course of their history, what happened because of the division in the kingdom, the very people who were called as collectively Israelites, the southern people came to be called as Jews in order to distinguish that they are northern people or southern people. So all the three terms refers to one and the same people, but at a different time. Okay, so when you are reading, don't get confused. You know, in your mind, it should be registered. When you are reading, it is Hebrews, it is referring to the Israelites. When you're reading Israelite, it is referring to the Hebrews. When you're reading about Jews, it is also referring to the Israelites, but at a later time. Any questions on this? Anything that I have left out and you would like to ask? And then I can.
This Hebrew and Aramaic, are they the same?
You know, it is almost like Semitic languages they are. Like a Semitic, you know, that means in the vicinity of the Mesopotamia, you have different tribes, and they have, in a form, it is kind of dialect. Dialect of Hebrew is Aramaic.
Okay. Thank you. Because Jesus spoke Aramaic somewhere.
Yeah, because of course, basically he's a Jew, and you know, the spoken language dialects, there are different, you know, because you know, when you go to, for example, if you go to Orissa, I have seen everybody speaks Odia, but then they have their own dialects.
Okay. Thank you, sister.
Yeah. Sister, sorry.
Go ahead.
Sister, how come that no scriptures was written in Aramaic then? Or scriptures were written in Aramaic also?
No. Yeah, there are, they say some few traces of Aramaic writings are existing, but that, the thing is, as I said yesterday, they were never written until they went into exile, means systematical writing. But as a piece and bits, for their own personal use, if they were educated, they may have some writings in Aramaic. But when it came for the codification of writing and making it as a collective books, it was all in Hebrew.
So even Genesis was written also during the exile period only? All from the starting, all books?
No. You see, I don't say that time they sat and wrote the whole of Genesis. No. It is most of the time when the people are asking, when the children or the people started questioning, how did this come about? How did that come about? They made a form of story. But afterwards, it was necessary, something is kept in writing. So it is all like small booklets. Okay, it is just for the local use. And these pieces all were collected and brought it into a book format much later. That has happened during most of the things have taken place during the time of exile. That is the time they felt bad for their own behavior, how they have distanced themselves from God who loved them, who cared for them, and they did not respond it in a positive way. So that is like a kind of, recollecting their past and the glory of how God came into their life. So there they made it more explicit, the works of God in their life.
Thank you, sister.
One more question, sister. So just to understand about this Hebrews and the tribe of Habiru. So is it right to say that Abraham came from the tribe of Habiru?
Yes. He's an Hebrew.
Okay. And that's how the entire people are known as Hebrews. Okay, got it. Thanks, sister.
This is just because I'm not dealing with the whole book of Genesis like that. I'm just telling the background why we are calling this, who are these Israelites. And in the Genesis is important only to tell us that who are our patriarchs, who are the patriarchs for the Israelites. So you have only those stories. That going for marriage and he searched a girl for her from this land, and all that is connected stories. But the main story is to tell that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because they are the constant people who were always appreciated and looked upon by the Israelites. God of our father means whenever they want to refer to Yahweh, they always addressed him as God of our fathers, because they didn't want to address God directly as Yahweh or Elohim or Adonai. They would wish that they addressed it in the form of God of Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Jacob, like that. They were more comfortable in addressing God like that, because God is so holy. How to call his name like that? No, so they would always go by this kind of references to God.
Sister, until Jacob's time, they were in Canaan only, or from Joseph only went to Egypt. Till then, they were in Canaan. Jacob also, from like Abraham.
Yeah. Yes. See, they were in Canaan, but not in one particular location. Okay, they keep moving. For example, sometimes here, sometimes they move. They used, because it is not permanent. Nothing was permanent for them. And when Joseph was sold into Egypt, and he was in Egypt, and when there is a famine in the whole land of Canaan, when there is, that is how the story goes, when there was famine in the whole land of Canaan, and they hear that there is in Egypt, they have plenty. And that is how they move. So that's the connecting story. The Joseph story is a connecting story to the book of Exodus. Because if you start reading Exodus abruptly begins with the people of Israel being in Egypt and they are persecuted. Then you will be wondering, why are they persecuted? Why did the people of Israel are there? Okay, so that questions will arise. And therefore, the book of Genesis will support the link for the book of Exodus. No more questions? It's more a story form which you all know, so then there may not be much
Sister, I have one question.
Yes.
Sorry. About Abraham, you said he was from Ur. So if he is originally from Ur, then Mesopotamia becomes his land and his country. Why are they called nomads then? Like nomads are people with no land. They were mainly moving around for the cattle grazing, right? But their land is, so they are a people with a land.
Yeah, that's
right?
why I said it is a question between whether they are semi-nomads or nomads.
Oh, I see. Okay, so they're not, okay.
Yeah, so they have something, but they do not own the land. For now we have in the Bangalore area, so many slum areas are there. And if they live for 20 years, then it is difficult for the government or anybody to vacate them. So they would demand that they need some place to stay on. So they're just okay, because see the land problem is, now for us it is a problem of land, but that time the land is plenty and multitude is less. Okay, people are less, but land is plenty. So they could go and pitch and stay anywhere and call this is my land.
Okay, thank you.
No, for all this, we will not have an ultimate truthful answer like that. Yeah, but from whatever is possible, we can speak in this. That's why I said, if you consider him as a nomad, a semi-nomad only, this blessing becomes meaningful. So first of all, you look at the blessing which God gives to Abraham. I will make you a great nation. But every time Sarah is mentioned in the Bible, first, chapter 11, twice at least you will find, twice or thrice you will hear that Sarah was barren. Sarah was barren. So where there is barren, and then God is promising the great nation. Okay, that is something which is impossible, but God is promising. And they are nomads. That means no people, they don't belong to anybody. They are all by themselves. And such people, God is selecting them and giving them an identity that I am going to make you my people. And of course, land. Okay, they don't have land and God promises the land. So, what you lack when you get, you are more happy. So what you already have, when things are given, you are not so happy. It means it doesn't make you so excited. But God's promises are like that to Abraham. But ultimately, whatever excitement God created in Abraham, but all that is not fulfilled in his own time itself. I'm just trying to spiritualize certain things, because we are also dealing with faith history.
Thank you, sister. That was a very beautiful explanation. Thank you very much.
Sister,
Yes.
as mentioned, the kingdom was divided as Northern Kingdom and the Southern Kingdom.
Yeah.
So the Northern Kingdom was known as Israel, and the Southern Kingdom, Judah.
Yeah.
So were they, the Israelites of the Northern Kingdom and the Jews of the Southern Kingdom, were they known by those labels, or as you said, all of them were Jews, Israelites, and...
No, I just kept in pending. I didn't want to tell too much about this because I want to tell as a history. Then I will explain. I thought that's why I didn't tell.
Okay.
The same category, it means all the Israelites came and occupied this land. No, okay, and the division comes only after the time of Solomon, and that means his son Rehoboam. During his time only kingdom gets divided. You may divide the land, but you are not dividing the person with the blood with which you are born, isn't it? Brothers and brothers may become enemies. One may not talk to another one, but you share the same blood. So blood is the same, but then they do not want to call themselves as by the same name for the kingdom. So that's why kingdom, when gets divided, since 12 tribes are together in the Northern Kingdom, they say that we will take the name Israel. Okay, otherwise collectively it was called Kingdom of Israel. Now, since in the Northern Kingdom there are 12 tribes, they wish to take that as their name. So we will keep our name as Kingdom of Israel. So the option is the Southern Kingdom, there are only 2 tribes, Judah and Benjamin. So Judah is the main tribe. So they get the name kingdom of Judah. So now men of Judah are called as Jews. Okay. That is, means the family of not only Judah, but Benjamin also is there. But since the kingdom is called as Judah, the people in Judah are called as Jews. But the same people actually. Okay. So northern people kingdom, they will be calling themselves as Israelites. Have I answered your question?
Yes, thank you, sister. Thank you very much.
So friends, we have come to the end of today's Bible study. Sister, we have only 5-7 more minutes left. So we still have this issue with Zoom account. I think it is getting extended. We'll be able to sort out by tomorrow. So friends, so today for this evening, I will upload 2 videos because it was recorded in 2 parts. So those who are watching on the YouTube channel can watch 2 times or 2 different videos. Sister, can we close it with a prayer, sister? Or Jude, you would like to say something, Jude?
I just had an observation to make. So we have 2 videos like the tribe of Joseph, which became Ephraim and Manasseh.
Is it a question for me?
No, it's just an observation, sister.
Okay.
We'll be having 2 videos.
Yeah. Yeah, thank God we only have 2. If it was actually we had, this is the 3rd edition because we joined with 40 minutes for the rosary, then we got disconnected again. We joined, we got disconnected. Anyways, thank you for putting up with us. Sorry for the inconvenience, but it's all part of the game. So can we close it with a prayer?
Okay. Dear Father, you are the light, and we are constant seekers of this light. Our prayers for you, our prayers today is that continue to shed your light upon each one of us so that we become bearers of your light. We make this prayer in the name of your beloved Son, Jesus our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sister. Thank you, everyone. God bless you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sister. Thank you,
Bye.
Brother Joe.
Bye.